Repeat the Hebrew. Barakatha.
Barakatha.
Salakia. I'm reading this from left to right. Barakatha Yahweh.
Barakatha Yahweh.
Bahasham.
Bahasham.
Hamashiach.
Hamashiach.
Yahweh Shai.
Yahweh Shai.
Ahawa'ah.
Ahawa'ah.
Lathananawa.
Lathananawa.
Hakak Pawar.
Hakak Tawar.
Bashalom.
Bashalom.
Abu Shai Yahweh, please accept the Lord's Prayer in the Other One Palah. Repeat the Hebrew. Abanawa.
Abanawa.
Shabbat Shemayim.
Shabbat Shemayim.
Kodash.
Kodash.
Hayah.
Hayah.
Shamka.
Shemka.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Malakwuthka.
Malakwuthka.
Taba'ah.
Taba'ah.
Ratazaka.
Ratazaka.
Hayah.
Hayah.
Aisha.
Aisha.
Baharataza.
Baharataza.
Kawa.
Kawa.
Hayah.
Hayah.
Bashemayim.
Bashemayim.
Lathananawa.
Lathananawa.
Lakum.
Lakum.
Kayawum.
Kayawum.
Wasalakinawa.
Wasalakinawa.
Kabawapinawa.
Kabawapinawa.
Kasalakinawa.
Kasalakinawa.
Kabawapinawa.
Kabawapinawa.
Wala'ah.
Wala'ah.
Fabayanawa.
Fabayanawa.
Bonasai one.
Bonasai one.
Habo.
Habo.
Hawashainawa.
Hawashainawa.
Mayan.
Mayan.
Rai.
Rai.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Laka.
Laka.
Hamalakwath.
Hamalakwath.
Wa'ala.
Wa'ala.
Waithai Parath.
Malathai Parah.
Lai William.
Amalam.
Bahashim.
Bahashim.
Hamashiach.
Mashiach.
Yahushai.
Yahushai.
Thawada.
Thawada.
Thinyad.
Thinyad.
Amen.
Amen.
Lord, pray in English.
The book of Matthew, chapter 6 and verse 9. After this manner, therefore, pray ye, Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen. For if you forgive them, for if you forgive men their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if you forgive not men their trespasses, neither will your Father forgive your trespasses. Abanaw Yahweh by Shem Mamashak Yahawashai Thawatam Yad. Amen.
Amen. Ashabiyo, please be seated. All right. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. All praises and honor and glory goes on to the Most High Yahweh, for his mercy endure forever. We are closing the Purim today, as we opened it yesterday and went into, at headquarters, went into the story, a little brief story of of Esther and the history, what transpired. So we're going to go ahead and finish that off today, but we're going to touch a little bit of what the headquarters brought out last night, and then we're going to go ahead and just finish the rest of the story of Esther, right? So let's open up with Colossians 3, verse 17.
The book of Colossians, chapter 3 and verse 17. And whatsoever you do in word or deed, do all in the name of the Other One Yahweh, giving thanks to the Most High and the Father by him.
Right, so everything that we do, everything that we say, everything that we think must be according to the Most High's word, right? So let's go ahead and open up with the book of Esther. Let's start with, I guess we can go to Esther 1 and 1 now. Let's start off with Esther 1 and 1.
The book of Esther, chapter 1 and verse 1. Now it came to pass in the days of Assuerus. This is Assuerus which reigned from India, even unto Ethiopia, over 127 provinces. That in those days, when the king Assuerus sat on the throne of the his kingdom, which was in Shushan, the palace. In the 3rd year of his reign, he made a feast unto all his princes and all his servants, the power of Persia and Media, the nobles and princes of the provinces being before him. When he showed the riches of his glorious kingdom and the honor of his excellent majesty many days, even 180 days. And when these days were expired, the king made a feast unto all the people that were present in Shushan, the palace, both unto great and small, 7 days, in the court of the garden of the kingdom of the king's palace, where were white, green, and blue hangings, fastened with cords of fine linen and purple, to silver rings and pillars of marble. The beds were of gold and silver, upon a pavement of red and blue and white and black marble. And they gave them drink in vessels of gold, the vessels being diverse one from another, and royal wine in abundance, according to the state of the king. And the drinking was according to the law, none did compel, for so the king had appointed to all the officers of his house, that they should do according to every man's pleasure. Also Vashti the queen made a feast for the women in the royal house which belonged to King Assyrius, on the 7th day, when the heart of the king was merry with wine. He commanded Mehuman, Biztha, Harbona, Bigtha, and Abigath, Zether, and Carcass, the 7 chamberlains that served in the presence of Assyrius the king, to bring Vashti the queen before the king with the crown royal, to show the people and the princes her beauty, for she was fair to look on. But the queen Vashti refused to come.
She what?
She refused to come.
Right. So we went into all the riches of this King Ahasuerus, right? Setting up feast days and parties for his princes, for his top shotters. They went into the material, the hangings. This is what they're doing in here, is expounding on the riches that this king had, right? You know, we understand that this king is a heathen king at this time, right? He reigned from India even unto Ethiopia, right? All this money, all this fame, all these things, and his wife still refused his order.
Right.
He cannot keep his house in order.
Right.
Why? Because he's not an Israelite.
Right.
Right? So it don't matter how much money you have, or how much gold, or how much fame.
Right.
Right? That's not going to help you keep your house in order.
Right.
It's going to be the Most High. It's going to be the law, statutes, and commandments. Right? Let's go ahead, Cap.
Also, too, Cap, like the Cap was saying last night, that we maybe think that these nations, their household been ran good, but they're not.
Right, right.
The scriptures is telling us.
Right.
You thinking because Esau, these other nations, they'll make things look good and sweet.
Right.
They'll make it seem like Jake, the so-called nigger man, nigger woman, that their households are destroyed.
It's out of order, right?
Yeah, come on. That's all I want to say.
Con. Hold on, let me find that scripture. You look for it? Oh. No, about keeping your house in order. I think it's in the New Testament. I think it's 1 Timothy's or...
Keep your house in order.
Yeah, when the Most High say, is it Isaiah? No, I thought it was, I was just looking at it the other day, man. Now I'm drawing a blank.
I thought it was in the Apocrypha.
Is it in the Apocrypha?
Yeah, about keeping your house in order.
Which one is it? see.
Therefore put your house in order.
Mm-hmm.
Second Esdras 14:13. Is that it?
Let me see. I thought there was one in the New
It says,
Testament.
now therefore set thy house in order.
Yeah.
Call it again?
Second Esdras 14:13. Right, that's the one you're looking for?
That's not the one I'm looking for, but let's read it.
Yeah, that's it, Cap.
No, this one I'm looking for in the New Testament. They always bring out marriage counsel.
2 and 4?
Huh?
2 Timothy 2 and 4?
Let me see what that say. I think that's it. Cause I think I'm paraphrasing. I don't think I'm saying exactly what it's saying in the scripture. You said what? 2 Timothy?
2 Timothy 2 and 4.
You sure? No, that's no man wanted to tangle himself in the feather of this life.
You probably think about 1 Timothy's. Read what you got in the Apocrypha.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 14 and verse 13.
Come on.
Now therefore, set thine house in order, and reprove thy people. Comfort such of them as be in trouble, and now renounce corruption.
Right. So, this is when Esdras was receiving all those visions and prophecies and dreams, right? And the Most High commanded him to set his house in order and reprove his people, right? But when he was talking about his house, he's talking about the whole nation of Israel.
Right.
In this parable. But let's go back to Esther. I'll find what I'm thinking about. I don't know why it's not coming to me right now.
You got to paraphrase it different.
Yeah, I think I'm paraphrasing differently.
Yeah.
So let's jump down. So all this riches, all these things, and the man can't keep his wife in check. Right? Why? Because he doesn't have the Most High. Right? So now let's go to chapter 2. And matter of fact, start from verse 1.
The book of Esther, chapter 2 and verse 1. After these things, when the wrath of King Assyrius was appeased, he remembered Vashti, and what she had done, and what was decreed against her. Then said the king's servants, ministered unto him, that there be a fair young virgin sought for the king, and that the king appoint officers in all the provinces of his kingdom, that they may gather together all the fair young virgins unto Shushan, the palace, to the house of the woman, unto the custody of Hedge, the king's chamberlain, keeper of the women, and let their things be for purification, be given them.
Right. So after she refused, right, King Ahasuerus was angry, right? So right before this, his princes and his all the renowned famous men suggested that he divorced this woman, get rid of her, right? And when he hearkened unto their advice, it appeased him. So he gathered all the king's servants and told them to find all these fair young virgins from around the whole kingdom that he reigned, right? All these women, right? Where you left off?
Verse 4.
Keep going.
Verse 4. And let the maiden which pleases the king be queen instead of Vashti.
Right, so out of all these women that they're going to set up, it's like The Bachelor.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like The Bachelor. They got all these 40 women, they're getting their right just for this one dude. But you can imagine there was thousands of women.
Right.
Think about that. Thousands of women. Read.
And the thing pleased the king,
Mm-hmm.
and he did so.
Read.
Now in Shushan the palace there was a certain Jew.
There was a what?
Certain Jew.
Read.
Whose name was Mordecai.
Whose name was what?
Mordecai.
Come on.
The son of Jair, the son of Shimei,
Mm-hmm.
the son of Kish, a Benjamite,
Come on.
who had been carried away from Jerusalem with the captivity, which had been carried away with Jeconiah, king of Judah,
Read.
whom Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, had carried away.
Right. So just make a mental note where Mordecai descend from, because we're gonna come back to this. Read.
And he brought up
Hadassah.
Slakia.
Mhm.
And he brought up Hadassah,
Read.
that is Esther. his
Right,
uncle's
so
daughter.
her true Hebrew name is Hadassah,
Mm-hmm.
but in the area they was living in, she called herself Esther, because she didn't want to reveal that they were Jews, right? Because they just coming out of captivity, and they were still, people still wanted to hurt the Jews.
Right.
Come on.
And he brought up Hadassah, that is Esther, his uncle's daughter, for she had neither father nor mother, and the maid was fair and beautiful.
And the maid was what?
Fair and beautiful.
Come on.
Whom Mordecai, when her father and her mother were dead, took for his own daughter.
Right. So, what relationship did Esther have with Mordecai?
She is niece.
No.
What?
They cousins. And he brought up Hadassah, that is Esther, his uncle's daughter.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So they cousins, but he brought her up like his own daughter.
Right.
Right? His uncle's daughter. So his uncle, right, is related to his father, right? So she is his cousin.
Right.
But he brought her up as like his own daughter, right? So now, keep reading.
Verse 8. So it came to pass, when the king's commandment and his decree was heard, and when many maidens were gathered together unto Shushan the palace,
Read.
to the custody of Haggai, that Esther was brought also unto the king's house,
Come on.
to the custody of Haggai, keeper of the women.
Read.
And the maiden pleased him, and she obtained kindness of him, and he speedily gave her things for purification, with such things as belonged to her, and 7 maidens which were meet to be given her out of the king's house. And he purified her.
And he preferred.
And he preferred her and her maids unto the best place of the house of the women.
Read.
Esther had not showed her people nor her kindred, for Mordecai had charged her that she should now show it.
That she should not show it, right? Show what? Show that she's a Jew, her true heritage. That she's going to be called Esther. Don't bring up your name Hadassah. Come on.
And Mordecai walked every day before the court of the women's house to know how Esther did and what should become of her.
Right, and Mordecai, being a father to his cousin, was watching her, walking back and forth in the court. He was according to this movie, when you say One Night with a King, Mordecai was what they call a scribe. So he had connections. So he was walking up and down the courts and talking to people, and they was giving him information like, she's doing good, she all right, right? Read.
Now when every maid's turn was come to go in to King Ahasuerus, after that she had been 12 months, according to the manner of women, for so were the days of their purification accomplished, to wit, 6 months with oil of myrrh, and 6 months with sweet odors, and with other things for the purifying of the women.
Listen, man, this king wanted this woman to be so holy and sanctified that they purified these women for 6 months in oil of myrrh, sweet odors, right? These women were smelling good,
Right.
right? Beautiful woman, right? Read on.
Verse 13. Then thus came every maiden unto the king. Whatsoever she desired was given her, to go with her out of the house of the women, unto the king's house. In the evening she went, and on the morrow she returned into the second house of the women, to the custody of
Where you at? Oh, Shaz. Yeah, Shazgaz.
To the custody of Shazgaz, the king's chamberlain, which kept the concubines. She came in unto the king no more, except the king delighted in her, and that she were called by name.
Read.
Now when the turn of Esther, the daughter of Abiel, the uncle of Mordecai, who had taken her for his daughter, was come to go in unto the king, she required nothing.
She required what?
She required nothing.
Come on.
But what Haggai, the king's chamberlain, the keeper of the women, appointed. And Esther obtained favor.
She obtained what?
She obtained favor.
Read.
In the sight of all them that looked upon her.
Come on.
So Esther was taken unto King Assyrius into his house, royal in the 10th month, which is the month of Tebeth.
Read on.
In the 7th year of his reign. And the king loved Esther above all the women.
And the king what?
Loved Esther above all the women.
Read.
And she obtained grace and favor in his sight, more than all the virgins. So that he set the royal crown upon her head, and made her queen instead of Vashti.
Right, so all the women from all these other provinces and countries, over thousands of women. And here come Esther and stole this man's heart.
Right.
Let's get Judith. Judith 10 and 19. Oh, I'm interested.
Judith 10 and 19, you say?
Yeah, the book of Judith, chapter 10, verse 19. Yeah, just read straight. Wait, I want to give some context. Read from verse 17.
The book of Judith, chapter 10 and verse 17.
So I like it from 14.
Verse 14. Now when the men heard her words, and behold her countenance, they wondered greatly at her beauty.
At her what?
At her beauty.
Come on.
And said unto her,
They talking about Judith right now. Read.
Thou hast saved thy life. Thou hast saved thy life, and that thou hast hasted to come down to the presence of our Lord. Now therefore come to his tent, and some of us shall conduct thee until they have delivered thee to his hands.
Read.
And when thou standest before him, be not afraid in thine heart, but show unto him according to thy word, and he will entreat thee well.
Read.
Then they chose out.
Then they chose out of them an hundred men to accompany her and her maid, and they brought her to the tent of Halalawyah. Then was there a concourse throughout all the camp. Read.
For her coming was noise among the tents.
This woman was so beautiful that they was announcing, yo, they go that sister, they go that girl.
Right.
They were astonished at her beauty.
Yeah.
Read.
And they came about her as she stood without the tent of Halalawyah, till they told him of her.
Read.
And they wondered at her beauty.
And they what?
And they wondered at her beauty.
Come on.
And admired the children of Israel because of her.
Because of who?
Because of her.
Come on.
And everyone said to his neighbor, who would despise this people, that have among them such women.
That have among them what?
Such women.
So these men are wondering at the beauty of a gorgeous Israelite sister, right? And made a statement, why would you be mad at the Israelites who have such beautiful women like this?
Right.
Right? The beauty of our sisters, right, took away like any type of hate,
Right.
you know, from us, or any type of harm. Because at the end of the day, they want our woman, right?
Right.
They don't really care about us. They'll build a relationship. They'll be cool with us, but they're really coming for our woman. Right. That's how beautiful these women are. Finish that. You finish that?
Slow.
Go ahead.
Surely it is not good that one man of them be left, who being let go might deceive the whole earth.
Right. So now it's going to sign us, right? So they wondered at her beauty and admired the children of Israel because of her. And everyone said to his neighbor, who would despise this people that have among them such women? Just like Esther. Go ahead, Cap.
That's why in slavery, the slave master loves to sleep with our woman. He loved the black woman more than he loved his wife. And the
Right.
and the white slave master wife, she know that.
Right.
She know that.
Yeah.
Right. She used to envy that thing
Envy that. I'm talking about all
and be
of our
jealous.
women, from the Native Americans, from the Hispanic, from the so-called black, all of them. They love them.
And she used to treat them like crap. When they knew that when she knew her husband, the master, was messing with the other woman, they'll try to find a way to treat her like crap, or try to like bring her down, let her go work in the field. Like she was the house, you know, blank word, right? And they said the shalom,
sisters. How y'all doing?
right? And they will bring her to the field. So the beauty of our sisters, the beauty of Esther, was on another level, right? On another level. And the king, like she took the king's heart, right? So let's go back to Esther now, and let's read.
What's up, King?
Shalom.
Shalom.
Let's read, let me see here, hold on a second. I'm gonna jump around. Matter of fact, continue reading. You left off at 18. Read 17 again, Shalak.
We're in the book of Esther.
Book of Esther, chapter 2 and verse 17.
Read.
And the king loved Esther above all the women,
Mm-hmm.
and she obtained grace and favor in his sight, more than all the virgins, so that he set the royal crown upon her head, and made her queen instead of Vashti. Then the king made a great feast unto all his princes and his servants, even Esther's feast, and he made a release to the provinces, and gave gifts according to the state of the king.
Go on.
Verse 19. And when the virgins were gathered together the second time, then Mordecai sat in the king's gate. Esther had not yet showed her kindred, nor her people, as Mordecai had charged her. For Esther did the commandment of Mordecai, like as when she was brought up with him.
Right, so Mordecai was just playing it safe, because remember, it just said that they just came out of captivity, right? Well, they was fleeing from captivity, from Babylonian captivity, right? So they wanted to make sure that, you know, nothing is brought up like, oh, wait, these are the Jews, right? And they want to destroy her and him. So he was keeping it more her. That's why she changed her name from Hadassah to Esther, right? Keep reading.
Verse 21. In those days, while Mordecai sat in the king's gate, two of the king's chamberlains, Bigthan and Teresh,
Read.
of those which kept the door, were wroth and sought to lay hand on the king Assyrius.
Come on.
And the thing was known to Mordecai, who told it unto Esther the queen. And Esther certified the king thereof in Mordecai's name.
Read.
And when inquisition was made of the matter, it was found out. Therefore they were both hanged on a tree, and it was written in the book of the Chronicles before the king.
Right. So Mordecai used to sit at the gate, which means he had like an office, a role in the kingdom that they was residing in.
Right.
And he overheard these two chamberlains that wanted to lay hands on the king because they didn't like how the king was operating his kingdom, right? And he overheard that, let Esther know, and Esther let the king know, and then they killed the men before they even do anything to the king, right?
Right.
So just make a mental note of that because that's going to be important for a little bit later on. Let's jump to. Are we still in chapter 2? No, we already read that. All right, let's jump to chapter 3. Start from verse 1. Yeah.
The book of Esther, chapter 3 and verse 1. After these things did King Assyrius promote Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, and advanced him, and set his seat above all the princes that were with him.
Right, so Mordecai was the one that relayed the information, but Haman was the one that put them dudes to death, like sentenced them to get death. Like he took care of that.
Right.
He did the work. So he got a promotion from that, right? Read.
And all the king's servants that were in the king's gate bowed and reverenced Haman.
Right, so now in this promotion, imagine you getting a promotion right now, right? And everybody's congratulating you. You know, they Khan, yeah, man, you got this promotion. You took them dudes out. They wanted to kill the king. Everybody's reverencing him and bowing to him. Read.
And reverenced Haman, for the king had so commanded concerning him.
Read.
But Mordecai bowed not.
But what Mordecai did?
But Mordecai bowed not.
But Mordecai ain't bowed down. He ain't bowed down to this Agagite. Right? Read.
Nor did him reverence.
Or he didn't like acknowledge him. Acknowledge his rank or whatever, right? Come on.
Then the king's servants which were in the king's gate said unto Mordecai, why transgressest thou the king's commandment?
Right, because the king commanded for everyone to reverence Haman because of his promotion, right? So they posed that question, why are you breaking the king's commandment? Read.
Now it came to pass, when they spake daily unto him, he hearkened not unto them, that they told Haman to see whether Mordecai's matter would stand. For he had told them that he was a Jew.
For he had what?
For he had told them he was a Jew.
Right, so now it's been revealed to Haman that Mordecai is a Jew.
Right.
Now look how Haman react. Read.
And when Haman saw that Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence, then was Haman full of wrath.
Haman was full of wrath. When he found out that Mordecai is a Jew, and this man ain't reverenced me or bow down to me, after the king gave me a promotion, he became immediately angry. Read.
And he thought scorn to lay hands on Mordecai alone, for they had showed him the people of Mordecai. Wherefore Haman sought to destroy all the Jews that were throughout the whole kingdom of Assyrius.
Of Hazaras. Of Hazaras. Kingdom
Of Hazaras, even the people of Mordecai.
Right. So now, as soon as he found out that he was, they inquired why he didn't bow down to him, why he breaking the king's commandment, right? But when he found out he was a Jew, that's when the anger came into him, right? And he scorned to lay hands on Mordecai alone. He wanted to put this man to death, right? So now, let's go. Hey, Captain Ariella, pull up the blue letter real quick. And where was the name Mordecai? Just on it. Oh, I'm in Deuteronomy now, so I can. Click on verse 6 in chapter 3. And click on Mordecai's name. Go back to Esther 2. Is it Esther 2, 2 and 5? Go to Esther 2 and 5.
Book of Esther, chapter 2 and verse 5.
So like it, Cap, go to 2 and 5 and just click on verse 5. And click on Kish. Read verse 5.
The book of Esther, chapter 2 and verse 5.
Come on.
Now in Shushan the palace, there was a certain Jew,
Read.
whose name was Mordecai,
So Mordecai is a Jew, right? Come on.
the son of Jair,
He's the son of Jair, and Jair is the son of who?
the son of Shammai,
And Shammai, and Jair is the son of Shammai, and Shammai is the son of who?
the son of Kish,
Now Kish is their forefather, and he's a what?
a Benjamite.
Now click on Kish. Click go to 2 and 5. You at Kish? No, you're not. What verse you in? 2 and 5? Go to 2 and 5. Like get out and go back to the Bible verse, like the scriptures. Quick view. Oh, okay. Quick view. Esther 2 and 5, and then go to Kish. Click on Kish. Let's see who Kish come from. Because it's deeper than what we reading. Haman. So now go click on Tools and go to Kish. Keep going. Right there. Right. So right here. Kish is a Benjamite of the family of Matri, father of King Saul.
Right.
So now
come from King Saul lineage.
Mordecai comes from King Saul's lineage.
Right.
Because King Saul was a Benjamite.
Right.
Right? Let's go to 1 Samuel 15. Read from verse 1.
The book of 1 Samuel, chapter 15 and verse 1. Samuel also said unto Saul, the Most High sent me to anoint thee to be king over his people, over Israel. Now therefore hearken thou unto the voice of the words of the Most High.
Read.
Thus said the Most High of hosts, I remember that which Amalek did to Israel.
I remember what?
That which Amalek did to Israel.
The Most High remember what Amalek did to Israel. Read.
How he laid wait for him in the way,
Come on.
when he came up from Egypt.
Read.
Now go and smite Amalek.
Now go and what?
Now go and smite Amalek,
Read.
and utterly destroy all that they have, and spare them not, but slay both man and woman, infant and suckling, ox and sheep, camel and donkey.
Right. So pause right there. Now let's go to Haman. Let's go back to 2. No. Where did Haman's name came up? On chapter 3? Find a verse with Haman's name in it. I think it was 3 and 5 we were just reading. Yeah. 3 and 4. Go to 3 and 4.
Esther, right?
Esther 3 and 4 in the blue letter, and click on Haman's name, and let's see where he come from. No, not. I think it's the verse 1. I'm still like it. Verse 1.
Just one. Right?
Verse 1, and click on Haggai, the Haggagite. So Haman, the son of Ammethadah, the Haggagite, right? let's see where Hagag come from. So you're going to click on the Hagagite, right?
Agagite.
The Hagagite, or go to 3 and 1. You know what? Hold on. So like, yeah, I'm doing it wrong. Just go to 1 Samuel 15 and 8.
Right.
It's Hagag that I want, not Hagagite. So like it, Cap, you can take down the blue there for right now. So Haman descends from the Hagagites. Let's see who Hagag is. Read 1 Samuel chapter 15, verse 8.
The book of 1 Samuel chapter 15 and verse 8. And he took Agag, the king of Amalekites, alive, and utterly destroyed all the people with the edge of the sword. But Saul and the people spared Agag, and he in the best of the sheep, and of the oxen, and of the fatlings, and the lambs, and all that was good, and would not utterly destroy them.
So, but pause right there. So, the Most High commanded King Saul to destroy all the Amalekites, right? But he preserved Hagag, who was the king of all the Amalekites, right? This is where Haman comes from. Agag, his forefather comes from Agag. So this hate that he has for the Jews,
Right.
it's spiritual. It's a bloodline thing. Get Ezekiel 35, verse 5. So when he found out he was a Jew, he was like, this is the guy Mordecai that come from the same lineage of the people that wanted to wipe out my people.
Right. Right.
You see that?
Right. Right. So that's why you were trying to wipe out all the Jews.
So once he found out this man was a Jew, he wanted to lay hands on Mordecai. He's not really too sure where the other Jews are. But once he found out, this man wanted to kill all the Jews because he remembered what happened to him. Read Ezekiel 35, verse 5.
The book of Ezekiel chapter 35 and verse 5.
Now Amalek comes from Esau. Esau is the forefather of all the Edomite nations. Amalek, Agag, the Dukes, right? They all, the Romans, the Greeks, the other tribes they have, all these Edomite nations, right? Amalek is part of that. He come from Esau. So read that real quick.
The book of Ezekiel chapter 35 and verse 5.
Mm-hmm.
Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred,
Mm-hmm.
and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel
Read.
by the force of the sword, and in the time of their calamity, and the time that their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, said the Most High Power, I will prepare thee unto blood.
I will prepare thee unto what?
I will prepare thee unto blood.
Read.
And blood shall pursue thee.
Right. Come on.
Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee.
Right. You finished?
Yep.
Get Exodus 17 and 8. Let's see why the Most High have a problem with Amalek. Right? The forefather of Agag, the forefather of Haman, the man that wanted to destroy all the Jews in the story that we're reading, in the history that we commemorating right now, this present time. Right? Read Exodus 17 and 8.
The book of Exodus chapter 17 and verse 8.
I believe the brothers went into this a couple of weeks ago in the portion. Read that.
The book of Exodus chapter 17 and verse 8.
Come on.
Then came Amalek and fought with Israel and
In Rephidim. Right. So remember, we got out of Egypt. We in the wilderness, and the Most High is dealing with us. And then came across the Amalek tribes fighting with the Israelites. Right. We've been fighting since after we left the Exodus.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And we still fighting with them this present day.
Right.
Because Esau is the so-called white man that the Bible speaks of, right? So the same white man that wanted to kill Mordecai and all the Jews, the same white man that wanted to kill all you so-called black, Haitian, Jamaican, Native American, Latinos that descend from Negro and Indian descent. It's the same hate, right? Keep reading.
Verse 9. And Moses said unto Joshua, choose us out men, and go out, fight with Amalek. Tomorrow I will stand on the top of the hill with the rod of the Most High in my hand.
Right, so jump down to 14.
Verse 14.
Right, so the Israelites was fighting with the Amalekites, and Moses was on top of the mountain with his hands up, like praying onto the Most High with the rod of his the rod that turned into a serpent, right? And every time his hands will come down, the Israelites start losing.
Right.
And Joshua and Hur will come and hold his hands up.
Right.
And the Israelites start winning. That's what I just skipped right now, just for process of time.
Right.
And his hands was becoming so heavy that they put a rock under his arm to keep his hands up.
Right.
It sounds like a crazy story, but this is what we're dealing with.
Yeah,
We're dealing with the Bible.
If you been in sports or something, the coaches make us hold our hands out.
Right.
Well, you keep them up a long time.
Right.
You gotta go to burning.
That
boy,
thing
so I can just
be
imagine.
hurting.
Right.
So every time his hands would go down, we getting beat up. Boom, boom, boom. Amalek killing Israel.
Right.
His hands go up, Israelites start wiping them out. So that's what happened. And then read this. Verse 14.
Verse 14.
Mhm.
And the Most High said unto Moses, write this for a memorial in a book.
Right, so we won, right? And we destroyed Amalek at this moment. We ain't completely wiped them out, but we beat them. Come on.
And rehearse it in the ears of Joshua, for I will utterly put out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven.
Right, so write this in a book and talk about it.
Right.
Talk about history. Have history lessons about this. Because I will utterly put out the remembrance of Amalek. Because later on, I'm going to wipe out this nation.
Right.
For what they did to you guys here in the wilderness.
Right.
Read on.
Verse 15. And Moses built an altar and called the name of it Jehovah
Nasai, I guess.
Jehovah Nasai.
Mm-hmm.
For he said, because the Most High had sworn that the Most High will have war with Amalek from generation to generation.
From what?
From generation to generation.
This is spiritual, man. This is spiritual, brother.
Right.
Our people been dealing with Amalek and the Edomites from generation to generation. And the ordinance and feast day that we're celebrating, the closing today, is a commemoration of how we escaped that through the power of the Most High Yahweh, of the power of God, right? But we still, guess what? We just read it. King Saul didn't wipe everybody out.
Right.
That's why he went off.
Right.
And because he didn't follow the Most High's commandment. Most High said, kill everybody. Don't leave no babies. Don't leave no cows. Don't leave Sparky and Oreo.
Right.
Don't leave nothing. This man gonna preserve the king.
Right.
Out of all of them, you gonna save the king?
Right.
That same king is the same king that Haman comes from, and he wants to kill the Jews now.
Right.
In the story that we're reading in Esther. Let's go back to Esther. Now we're going to jump. Let me see. I see the time. I'm trying to jump. Let's jump to... Let's go to Esther 4 and 8. Let me see. Hold on. Salakia. For process of time, everybody can read, obviously, the story of Esther in your own time. We just jumping through it and trying to hit the spots. So let's go to, we're going to go to chapter 4. Read from verse 1.
The book of Esther, chapter 4, and verse 1. When Mordecai perceived all that was done, Mordecai rent his clothes and put on sackcloth with ashes.
Right, so Mordecai found out that Haman started plotting to wipe out all the Jews. So he became sorrowful. He started renting his clothes and praying unto the Most High. Come on.
And went out into the midst of the city, and cried with a loud and bitter cry, and came even before the king's gate, for none might enter into the king's gate clothed with sackcloth. And in every province, whatsoever the king's commandment and his decree came, there was a great mourning among the Jews, and fasting, and weeping, and wailing, and many lay in sackcloth and ashes.
Right, so when all the Jews began to hear about this plot, we got scared. Like, oh damn, they found out that we in here, that we out here, they coming for us now. Right? What you just finished reading?
Verse 3.
Verse 3. Keep reading.
Verse 4. So Esther's maids and her chamberlains came and told it her. Then was the queen exceedingly grieved.
So then Esther, the queen, was revealed, found out about this information. Now she's becoming sorrowful. Even though she's a queen, she's still caring about her people. Right. You know, some of our people, they get some ranking or some money, and they be like, the hell with y'all jokers.
Right.
Hey, that ain't me, though.
Right.
That's Yah. Right. I'm here with the king. I'm chilling.
Right,
no, she became sorrowful because it's her people.
Right.
And they about to go through it, right? And sooner or later, if they find out I'm a Jew, they might get me too.
Right.
Right? Mm-hmm. Read.
And she sent raiment to clothe Mordecai, and to take away his sackcloth from him, but he received it not.
Keep reading. One more.
Then called Esther for Hattach, one of the king's chamberlains, whom he had appointed to attend upon her, and gave him a commandment to Mordecai to know what it was and why it was.
Okay, jump down to verse 8.
Verse 8. Also he gave him the copy of the writing of the decree that was given at Shushan, to destroy them, to show it unto Esther, and to declare it unto her, and to charge her that she should go in unto the king, to make supplication unto him, and to make requests before him for her people.
Right, so what Haman did was he went and created a decree and got the king to seal it. And once they got the king sealed, the notary, that thing go around, everybody got to follow it. It's a commandment. That's right. The commandment is destroy the Jews. Right. So he gave her a copy of that writing. This is how you see, I said earlier, he was a scribe. This man had connections. Right. So he got the copy of this decree, gave it to her, gave it to the guy, whoever this guy is, right, to go bring it to Esther. Right. Read on.
Verse 9. And Hattach came and told Esther the words of Mordecai. Again, Esther spake unto Hattach and gave him commandment unto Mordecai.
Right. So jump down to 16.
Verse 16. Go.
So like 15, my bad.
Verse 15. Then Esther bade them return Mordecai this answer.
Right, so she received all the letters and all the messages from Mordecai. Now she's telling them to go bring this message to Mordecai. Come on.
Go, gather all the Jews that are present in Shushan, and fast ye for me.
And what?
And fast ye for me.
Come on.
And neither eat nor drink 3 days, night or day. I also and my maidens will fast likewise, and so will I go in unto the king, which is not according to the law. And if I perish, I perish.
Right, so the message she gave to Mordecai was, gather all the Jews and fast ye for me, right? And I will fast as well. And this wasn't a water fast, or I'm not gonna eat meat today. No drinking and no eating. That's a real fast. For you to complete a real fast, a full fast, not what these Christians and Catholics be doing, you don't eat or drink for 24 hours. If we following, let me do it easy. From sundown to sundown. Right. You know what I'm saying? That's a full fast. It's tough, but it's good. It's scientifically good for your body.
Right.
The Most High is not an author of confusion. He tells us to do things. It's scientifically good for your body because it gives your body a rest and like it builds it up. It like starts using its own. You know, I ain't a scientist now, but it's in there. It's good for you. Trust me, I'm telling you. You can Google it. It's good for you. You finished that, right? So now she's telling them, pray for me. Why? Because she's going to take this information and go into the king's quarters, for lack of better terms. You know, I'm thinking about Game of Thrones, right? Where nobody can go in there unless you be called. Right. If you just show up there without permission, they can put you to death.
Right.
So she's asking her people to pray for her, right? Okay, Con. Now let's jump to, go to chapter 7. 7 and 3. We're getting closer and closer to the end.
The book of Esther, chapter 7 and verse 3. Then Esther the queen answered and said, If I have found favor in thy sight, O king, and if it please the king, let my life be given.
Salaka, you know what? Go to chapter 5. Let's just touch a little bit on Haman's hate. Chapter 5, verse 9.
The book of Esther, chapter 5 and verse 9.
Come on.
And when Haman forth that day, joyful and with a glad heart. But when Haman saw Mordecai in the king's gate, that he stood not up, that he stood not up, nor moved for him, he was full of indignation.
So this man still, so right after this, they had made a banquet, a feast for Haman, right? And Esther got the king and Haman together, and she told them, please, she invited him to like a dinner so she could bring out her petition, right? But what she's doing, she's trying to set up Haman and bring out this information right in front of the king and Haman, right? So Mordecai having this, Haman got all this, you know, in his mind, he's like, oh snap, I'm getting an invitation from the queen. I'm gonna be chilling with the king and the queen. Yo, my day's going good, you know what I mean? And I think before this, the king asked him for what Mordecai did, how should we honor that person? But Haman didn't know that the reason why those men were hanged, that they found out those men wanted to kill the king, was because of Mordecai. He didn't know that. Right. But the king said, he went into the book of records and said, hey, we never rewarded the guy who gave us this information. So he asked Haman, how should we honor this man? And Haman said, man, put this man in the deck, the flyer's clothes, put him on the horse, and let him go around the whole kingdom so everybody could worship him, because he thought that it was him that was going to be put on this horse, right? So now he got all this information, so he's hyped. He see Mordecai. And Mordecai don't acknowledge this man. Don't even say, what's up, Shalom. Right. This man just said, he just gave him the ill grill. Right. You know? They just looking at each other. Read verse 10.
Verse 10. Mm-hmm. Nevertheless, Haman refrained himself, and when he came home,
he refrained himself. He wanted to put hands on Mordecai right there.
Right.
But he refrained himself. Come on.
He sent and called for his friends and Zeresh, his wife.
Read.
And Haman told them of the glory of his riches and the multitude of his children, and all the things wherein the king had promoted him, and how he had advanced him above the princes and the servants of the king.
Read.
Haman said, moreover, yea, Esther the queen did let no man come in with the king unto the banquet that she had prepared, but myself.
But who?
But myself.
So this dude is hyped. He's like, yo, I'm the only one that got this invitation to come over here. Right. You know, I got all these promotions, all this money, all this riches. Read.
And tomorrow am I invited unto her also with the king.
That's the dinner that I was just talking about. Come on.
Right. Yet all this availeth me nothing.
Yet what?
Yet all this availeth me nothing.
So, after all these riches, all these promotions, all these things, none of that matters to him. Why? Read.
So long as I see Mordecai the Jew sitting at the king's gate.
So long I see who?
Mordecai the Jew sitting at the king's gate.
So long I see
Nigga.
I was good. He just took the word. So long as I see a nigga sitting at the gate means is a part of government. Like it's not just like he's just chilling by the gate. He's in the seat of some type of importance, right? And he's mad at the fact that he got a foot in this somehow. All these riches and all this power availing him nothing because Mordecai the Jew, right, for lack of better terms, right? Because that's how people know.
Right.
He a Benjamite. A Benjamite is a so-called Jamaican, those that come from Jamaica and the West Indies, right? So picture that. Yeah, Ross Clark, Bumble Clark. He looking at him and Bumble Clark. You know what I'm saying? Right. Nothing availeth because Mordecai is there living. Right. That's the hate this man has. Right? Read the next one.
Then says Zeresh, his wife, and all his friends unto him, let a gallows be made of 50 cubits high. And tomorrow speak thou unto the king that Mordecai may be hanged.
That who?
That Mordecai may be hanged.
This man is so angry that he went and got a what they call it? A gallows made to hang this man. Because that's how they would kill people. Think about Game of Thrones, whatever, all that stuff, when they be hanging them people. Right? Just for Mordecai. Yes, Cap?
And then see how his wife put that battery in his back.
Right.
See, she won't put the battery in his back.
Yeah.
Just like in the days of the slave master, his wife, she had a big part of doing that.
Oh, yeah. Con, she's the one that came with that. Yo, you know what? You should go ahead and make this gallows and hang this joker.
Just hang him.
Right? Even though she probably liked Mordecai in the low.
Yeah, no, you
she like Mordecai in the low. But she like, I put this man to death. He ain't better than you, baby. Right? But what they did was, what the Willie Lynch letter did, was try to make the so-called black woman do the opposite, right? Some of our women tried. They hear they men being called boy all day. When they come, that's my man. Or, hey, how you doing, king? You know what I mean? Right. Because they've been being called boy all day. They come try to put a battery in their back to try to, prevent that depression and that all that stuff they've been dealing with. But the Willie Lynch letter was a strategy to do the opposite. Like, you ain't nothing, blah, blah, blah. Now I get my own. Now it's the opposite. Like, our people don't do that for each other, but the heathens still do. They still back each other up, right? Finish that verse. I think you finished it, right? Well, no, still like it. Go ahead, read it again.
Verse 14. Then says Zeresh, his wife, and all his friends unto him, let a gallows be made of 50 cubits high, and tomorrow speak thou unto the king that Mordecai may be hanged thereon. Then go thou in merrily with the king unto the banquet. And the thing pleased Haman, and he caused the gallows to be made.
Right. So let's jump now to Esther 7. Matter of fact, we don't gotta go there. We can go a little farther. Well, yeah, go to 7 and 1.
The book of Esther, chapter 7 and verse 1. So the king and Haman came to the banquet with Esther the queen. And the king said, and the king said again unto Esther on the second day at the banquet of wine, what is thy petition, Queen Esther? And it shall be granted thee. And what is thy request? And it shall be performed, even to the half of the kingdom.
Right. So remember, we was going in earlier, the beauty of our sisters, right? They gathered thousands of women for this king, and Esther came in and ain't have to do, she purified herself too, but she ain't have to do nothing because the king just fell in love with this sister.
Right.
Right? And that's the beauty of the so-called black, Latino, Native American, some of the Indians that descend from Negro and Indian descent. I gotta be specific because them $5 Indians, they ain't gonna look like Esther. No. Right? So our women are so beautiful, right? That the king just, man, Like T.I. said, your priest always says this, it's whatever you like. Remember that song?
Right.
He be like, it's whatever you want or like. I forgot how it go.
Right.
Read.
Verse 3. Then Esther the queen answered and said, Verse 3. The book of Esther, chapter 7 and verse 3. Then Esther the queen answered and said, if I have found favor in thy sight, O king, and if it please the king, let my life be given me at my petition, and my people at my request.
So now she's revealing who she is. You gotta think about the king, like, what the heck you talking about? For your people, your life, you a queen. Like, ain't nobody gonna touch you.
Right.
So they probably like thinking some crazy stuff. Read.
Verse 4. For we are sold.
For we are what?
For we are sold.
Come on.
I and my people.
Read.
To be destroyed.
To be what?
To be destroyed.
Read.
To be slain.
Mm-hmm.
And to perish.
Read.
But if we had been sold for bondmen and bondwomen, I had held my tongue, although the enemy could not countervail the king's damage.
Right. So she revealed that she's an Israelite.
Right.
Right? And that all these things were done unto her people. Right? Come on.
Verse 5. Then the king Assyrius answered and said unto Esther, the queen, who is he, and where is he, that durst presume in his heart to do so? And Esther said, the adversary and the enemy is this wicked Haman.
Is this who?
Is this wicked Haman.
Is this wicked cracker?
Right.
It's him. Haman.
Right.
You gotta think Haman's like, oh damn.
Right.
She done put me on the spot.
I went out of cat face when she said that. They're like, oh man.
Right, like he wanted to put his hands on her.
Right.
Right? Read.
Then Haman was afraid before the king and the queen.
Come on.
And the king, arising from the banquet of wine, in his wrath went into the palace garden.
Mm-hmm.
And Haman stood up to make request for his life to Esther, the queen. For he saw that there was evil determined against him by the king. Then the king returned out of the palace garden into the place of the banquet of wine. And Haman was fallen upon the bed whereon Esther was. Then said, the king will he force the queen also before me in the house?
Right, come on.
As the word went out of the king's mouth, they covered Haman's face.
Right, so this man, trying to plead to the queen, Esther, fell upon her bed. Now the king like, you trying to take my woman too?
Right.
First you try to kill her and her people. Now you want to take my woman. Man, when you see the movies, them cats get kidnapped,
Right.
put the cover over his face, and they drag that man out of there. Read.
And Harbonah, one of the chamberlains, said before the king, behold also the gallows 50 cubits high, which Haman had made for Mordecai, who had spoken good for the king, standeth in the house of Haman. Then the king said, hang him thereon. So they hanged Haman on the gallows that he had prepared for Mordecai. Then was the king's wrath pacified.
Right. But what the scripture say? That what you sow, you shall also reap.
Right. Well,
This man-
that city also read. Right.
Listen, man. The Most High flipped that thing.
Right.
It's spiritual because it's going to happen again.
Right.
Like the scriptures always say, we always go into Isaiah, right? Those that were sold into captivity, I'm saying, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity, right? These people, these nations, these heathen, right, been doing this to our people for so long, trust me, they're going to get theirs. It's called the get back, right? The big payback. They're going to get it. Because the same thing this man built to destroy Mordecai, the Most High flipped it. But we skipped a couple chapters. Our people, we prayed and we fasted and we kept the commandments. We got together as a nation. I just skipped over it for process of time. We prayed for 3 days and 3 nights for the Most High to be on our side. That's what we had to do. We had to sanctify ourselves, pray, and as a nation. Because the more people that pray and fast together, the Most High bless us. Go ahead, Kat.
No, you're right about it because that's why, remember when a couple, like a year ago, the brothers got together and said we're going to pray for the nation?
Yeah.
All those brothers.
Right. Watchman of Israel, I believe.
We had to fast for the nation. The whole
Right.
nation did, yeah.
That thing is powerful.
Right.
You could only imagine how many blessings that thing pour upon our people. We probably not aware of it, but the Most High gonna bless us when we do things as a nation. So we came together as a nation, because I skipped over it. She already went into the king's quarter and didn't get put to death. Right? She was fainted, and like the king was like, "Baby, what's wrong?" You know what I'm saying? She just fasted for 3 days.
Right.
This lady's like, she about to drop out.
Right.
But she went in there into somewhere she couldn't go. It was against the king's law. She risked her life because they don't care. They will put the queen to death.
Right.
We talking about heathen nation right now.
Right.
They don't care. You break the king's commandment, that's the law of the land. Right? So we went through all that, and then we skipped to Haman getting his judgment. Right? So let's get now, let's go to chapter 9. Matter of fact, let's see what 8 and 1 and 2 say real quick. Yes, go to Esther 8, verses 1 and 2, and then jump to 9, to chapter 9.
The book of Esther, chapter 8 and verse 1. On that day did the king of Syria give the house of Haman, the Jews' enemy.
The whose enemy?
The Jews' enemy.
Read.
Unto Esther the queen. And Mordecai came before the king, for Esther had told what he was unto her.
Read.
And the king took off his ring, which he had taken from Haman, and gave it unto Mordecai. And Esther set Mordecai over the house of Haman.
Right. Matter of fact, keep reading.
And Esther spake yet again before the king, and fell down at his feet.
She still got to show her humility. Even though she knows she an Israelite, you know, she's still a queen, so she understand. Because remember, Mordecai wasn't bowing down for nobody, right? But she couldn't be like Mordecai because she the queen. So if they still want things to get done, she got to be a little bit humble. Read.
And besought him with tears to put away the mischief of Haman the Agagite and his device that he had devised against the Jews.
Right. So we overcame. The king gave us everything that belonged to Haman, right? And later on, they even gonna give us their children, and we destroyed all of them, for lack of better terms. We wiped them out, right? And the Most High dealt with the Israelites. What you got?
Proverbs 16 and 7.
Let's get that. Yes, Khan. Let's get that. Oh, yes, I like it. So he took off his ring. That ring that he gave to Mordecai, you know, all Mordecai got to do is show that ring anywhere he go. Right. And he's untouchable. Right. You know what I'm saying? He was. That's how powerful he ended up becoming, because we kept the law, statutes, and commandments, and we came together as a nation.
That's why in First Samuel, I think it's 2 and some, God said, I take a beggar from the dunghill and I sit him amongst princes.
Right.
With that ring too, can he also step stuff with that ring?
Yeah. He can also make shots, because that's a signet. So that's what they use to sign, to notarize letters and stuff. So he can approve a decree, right? Because that's what Haman did. That ring, Haman had it. Read that.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 16 and verse 7.
Come on.
When a man's ways please the Most High.
When a man's what?
When a man's ways please the Most High.
Your ways is your actions. So what we do as men and women, you know, the Bible speaking masculine term, but it's talking to the women too. Our ways, when they please the Most High, meaning when we keep the law, statutes, and commandments, read.
He maketh even his enemies to be at peace with him.
He maketh what?
He maketh even his enemies to be at peace with him.
So when you get pulled over, don't talk about, I know this law and statute 8, 1, 2, 3. You can't pull me up. Man, just be humble. You got the Most High on your side.
Go
ahead,
one year, I don't know what feast day it was, but we were coming from Fort Lauderdale.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm coming through Arcadia. I mean, not Arcadia, but
Sebring, one of those?
No. Okeechobee.
Oh, okay. Lake
So
Okeechobee.
I'm riding. It's about 2, 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
Well, he got behind me and pulled me.
Yeah.
Pulled over to the side. He came up.
Yeah.
He walked up to the car. He said, license registration, please. I gave the license registration. He looked at him. He said, all right, go ahead.
See? Trust me.
It was just that fast. I said, what?
I can tell you stories for days.
That's all he did. License registration. I gave it to him. He looked at him. He didn't walk back to the car, check it out, nothing like. All right, you take it up.
Right.
He didn't even try to give me no rundown or nothing.
So I'm trying to
Well,
tell you.
yeah, I said that's the most high though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's our enemy. I mean,
Right. Yeah.
I don't know if he was, Esau,
He was
but
Esau. He was
you know what I'm
Esau.
saying?
Yeah.
Sometimes the police can become your enemy, no matter what nation they are, right?
Right.
But he happened to be an Edomite,
Right.
Amalekite, you know what I'm saying? The Most High made your enemy at peace because the Most High is pleased when we keep his ways, right? All right, jump to Esther chapter 9, verse 1.
The book of Esther, chapter 9 and verse 1. Now in the 12th month, that is the month of Adar.
So we in that month this present time, and we're celebrating the Purim because we're rehearsing the righteous acts, and this became an ordinance. It's not a high feast day, a high holy day like Passover,
More blowing a trumpet.
No. It's not like, remember the three big boys: Passover, Feast of Tabernacles, and Feast of Weeks.
Right.
Memorial blowing of the trumpets, Day of Atonement, Purim, Hanukkah. These are ordinances, stuff that was established later on. I mean, of course, Day of Atonement and Memorial blowing trumpets are a little bit more important than Purim, but these are all important. But these are ordinances that were established after an event happened, right? So now, because this happened, we made it into a holiday.
Right.
Who be doing stuff like that? Esau do all the time.
Right.
Talk about Columbus Day,
Right.
President's Day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They ain't got nothing to do with us.
Show on.
Why are we keeping these holidays? Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter. Christ wasn't born on Easter. What does this got to do with anything? Well, Christ wasn't born on December 25th. What they got to do with anything?
Nothing.
We need to celebrate things that got something to do with us. A so-called black man can relate to this story. Right? Because an Edomite, a so-called white man, want to destroy him because he ain't reverence him. He ain't respect him.
Right.
But they disrespect my people on a daily basis. Right? They disrespect us every day, and they get mad when we say you won't go to slavery.
Right.
No, but I got a black friend.
Right. How many you got? I think it's like 3.5.
Yeah, his name JoJo. We go to the club all the time. We cool. Really? Right, read.
The book of Esther, chapter 9 and verse 1. Now in the 12th month, that is the month of Adar, on the 13th day of the same, when the king's commandment and his decree drew near to be put in execution, in the day that the enemies of the Jews hoped to have power over them, though it was turned to the contrary, that the Jews had rule over them that hated them.
Come on.
The Jews gathered themselves together in their cities throughout all the provinces of the king of Syria to lay hand on such as sought their hurt, and no man could withstand them. For the fear of them fell upon all people, and all the rulers of the provinces, and the lieutenants, and the deputies, and officers of the king helped the Jews, because the fear of Mordecai fell upon them.
Look at that, man. They feared the Israelites like they always do when the Most High do something for us.
Right.
They become immediately scared. Yes, Cap?
Stand the ground law that says no man can hurt them. They can go out and if anybody try to attack them, they can defend themselves.
Yeah.
Stand the ground law.
Right. Right. So the Most High done flip the script. I mean, and it be like that when we be out there at camp. If you watch these YouTube videos, we have these Edomites, or not Edomites, just anybody, scoffers, Edomites, trying to start problems, and then come the police to defend us.
Right.
To watch our back.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's the same spirit.
Right.
Read.
For Mordecai was great in the king's house, and his fame went out throughout all the provinces. For this man Mordecai waxed greater and greater.
Come on.
Thus the Jews smote all their enemies with the stroke of the sword.
With the what?
With the stroke of the sword.
Hey man, we gotta go to war. This wasn't, oh, I love God with all my heart. You know, He gonna give me salvation. You're gonna have to fight for your salvation.
Right.
Sooner or later, you're gonna have to fight for it.
That's right.
Physically and spiritually.
Right.
Right? All the Jews smote their enemies with the stroke of the sword. Not no butter knife.
Right.
Right? Not with love.
No.
With the sword.
Right.
Before peace come, there must be war.
Right.
Read.
Thus the Jews smote all their enemies with the stroke of the sword, and slaughter and destruction, and did what they would, unto those that hated them.
Come on.
And in Shushan the palace, the Jews slew and destroyed 500 men.
Come on. All right. Jump down to verse 10.
Verse 10. The 10 sons of Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the enemy of the Jews, slew they, but on the spoil laid they not their hand.
The spoil was like their resources, like cattle, stuff like that. They kept it because we not dumb. We need that stuff. We're going to wipe you out. The Most High ain't command us this time to wipe out the spoil and whatever. We kept it. We saved it.
Right.
Read on.
On that day, the number of those that were slain in Shushan the palace was brought before the king. And the king said unto Esther, the queen, the Jews have slain and destroyed 500 men in Shushan the palace, and the 10 sons of Haman. What have they done in the rest of the king's provinces? Now what is thy petition, and it shall be granted thee, or what is thy request further, and it shall be done.
You see what I'm saying? The Most High, remember, like the scriptures say, the Most High's hand is always on the king's heart.
That's right.
Right? This man, he asking Esther, what else you want us to do?
Right.
We done killed 500. We killed Haman's 10 sons. What else? What is thy request further? What else you want me to do?
Right.
Come on.
Then said Esther, if it please the king, let it be granted to the Jews which are in Shushan to do tomorrow, also according to this day's decree, and let Haman's 10 sons be hanged upon the gallows.
Oh, they kidnapped Haman's sons, and now she wants them to be hanged. Ruthless, right?
Yeah.
Gangster. Come on.
And the king commanded it so to be done. And the decree was given at Shushan, and they hanged Haman's 10 sons.
Read.
For the Jews that were in Shushan gathered themselves together on the 14th day, also of the month Adar.
So we're right now in this current time, we're in the month of Adar, and yesterday at evening was the 14th day of the month. Read.
And slew 300 men at Shushan.
Come on.
But on the prey they laid not their hand. But the other Jews that were in the king's province gathered themselves together, and stood for their lives, and had rest from their enemies.
Read.
And slew of their foes 75,000.
Come on.
But they laid not their hands on the prey. On the 13th day of the month Adar, on the 14th day of the same rested they, and made it a day of feasting and gladness.
Salakia, it was the 13th day and the 14th day.
And another thing I want to point out, when y'all see that word pray, in the Bible it means plunder. Talking
Right.
about, like the riches or whatever.
Khan,
Right,
lay
that's
their
what
hands
it's
on the
talking
prey.
about.
Right,
Right.
Khan. So we're commemorating and celebrating and remembering this feast day because of what our forefathers went through and did, and their success, and what they overcame, right? And the justice that the Most High poured on the heathen. So I know our people, you know, I haven't seen something in a while, but when we say no justice, no peace,
Right.
it's because we don't got the Most High on our side.
That's right.
Because when we got the Most High on the side, there will be justice. There will be peace. Read. 19.
Therefore the Jews of the villages that dwelt in the unwalled towns made the 14th day of the month Adar a day of gladness and feasting, and a good day, and of sending portions one to another.
Right, so that's why we celebrating the Feast of Purim. It was established to commemorate this historical event, how the Most High have mercy on us and preserved us, right, from the hands of our enemy. Jump down to, where's the, go, oh. So where is it?
9:26.
Jump down to 31.
The book of Esther chapter 9 and verse 31. To confirm these days of Purim in their times appointed, according as Mordecai the Jew and Esther the queen had enjoyed them, and as they had decreed for themselves and for their seed the matters of fasting and their cry. And the decree of Esther confirmed these matters of Purim, and it was written in the book.
Right, so they confirmed these days, they established it, appointed it, made it an ordinance where we celebrated on the month of Adar every year on the 13th and 14th day of that month to commemorate what the Most High did for his chosen. So give the Most High a round of applause. That completes the service, so we're going to go ahead and set up the closing prayer so we can, relax, eat, and enjoy one another in mirth and gladness. So, Almighty Mwapanya Yerushalayim.